It's Friday, July 16th, and you are watching The Drive. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome along. If you're new around here, maybe you don't know the format. Normally we go by the name The Drive with Daryl Prail. If you don't know him, I'm not actually Daryl. Daryl is away, and sometimes we had Catherine Robles on our team come along. I'm not Catherine either. And sometimes we have Sean Finder as well. I'm not Sean either. I'm that guy, Ollie, who does the run at the end of every episode. So I'm stepping in today. I'm taking the reins. This is my first show, especially doing it by myself. So hopefully you don't get sick of the sound of my voice. Maybe I will, but that's for me to worry about. Anyways, let's get right into what you're here for. Every week we do this. Nice and the sun is shining. It's live. It's Friday afternoon, and we're going to go through the news in sales this week. There's a couple of big stories to go through, but to start off with, I want to say thank you very much to the Sales Experts channel for bringing us here. I wouldn't be doing this right now if it wasn't for the Sales Experts channel and partnering with us. We love everything that they do. If you're looking for top-notch sales advice, you know where to go. The Sales Experts channel, kind of in the name. So without further ado, we're going to go into our first section, money. All right, so I'm pleased to say that this money story is actually really true to my heart. There's only one of them this week. I had a look around. There wasn't too many funding rounds going on. Maybe there is one that you already know about, but that's coming up in a moment. Anyway, the story. Kenyan company Affluence announces $1 million funding round to help build on its influencer marketing platform. Now, I love this. I absolutely love this. Influencer marketing is just skyrocketing. Do you know how many companies, how many big corporates, the ones that you would think they don't care about influencer stuff, they do things the old way, the traditional way. Do you know how many of those companies are taking ad money away and putting it into these influencer relationships, even into these affiliate relationships, into these other types of influencer, collaborations, these partnerships, these types of things? It's unbelievable. Things are changing. I guarantee you go on my Instagram here. It's full of people who I've never met that I think are funny or interesting or smart, who have got a massive audience, and brands partner with them all the time. I bet your Instagram is the same. I bet your Facebook is the same. Probably your Twitter, probably your LinkedIn, and everything else as well. It's going that way, and I'm just surprised that maybe B2B has taken quite as long as it has, because this is still a relatively small part of how marketing works in B2B, especially in SaaS. We're getting there, and there's always the LinkedIn famous people who get on these webinars and they go on each other's podcasts, but I think we're slowly getting a bit more towards that model, which I love. I think that's a great positive step. So maybe let's move on to corporate affairs. Where else to start? There is an absolute bombshell to share this week. I'm just going to come right out and say it. ZoomInfo acquires Chorus AI. Who saw that coming? I certainly didn't. I'll hold my hands up. So I'm just going to read a couple lines from their press release here. It's for around $575 million. $575 million. Can you imagine that in your bank account? I wouldn't even know where to start on spending that. I'd take like 20 years off. I think I'd buy a private island and Lord knows what else. But according to Yahoo Finance data, ZoomInfo's shares on a pre-market trading have not been affected. In concept, basically, this is an agreement to acquire. It's not actually happened yet, but everything's, as we say in England, the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed. It's all in place, so it's going to go through. And really the idea is this is bringing lower down the funnel, mid-level funnel insights to ZoomInfo's top of funnel offering, which is already very, very strong. As we know, they've already IPO'd. They're a data provider. They already bought DiscoverOrg a few years ago, their biggest competitor. They're already a gargantuan company. And then they acquire other people like Intent, Sapphire, I believe. There's a couple other intent providers that are in their network. So they're just going downstream. And what I find really interesting about this, we see people like HubSpot. And if you listen to interviews with their co-founders, people like Brian Halligan, Dharmesh, they talk about being just one thing in the beginning. and it wasn't even that great, the product itself. And then all of a sudden, they've started to get product market fit. They keep going, they keep building. Now they're a sales CRM, they're email marketing, they're landing pages, they're everything. And you can really be a one-stop shop vendor if you get that good at all of those things. Looks like ZoomInfo is trying to do that. I would not predicted that from them a while ago. You pigeonhole people like ZoomInfo sometimes, probably unfairly, by saying they're a data provider. It's what they are, data. In that bucket there, that's all that they do. But clearly it's not. And I look at this news and I wonder what on earth is next. If they're going to do Chorus, what else might they do? They might do an engagement tool like the SalesLoft, the Outreaches, the VanillaSofts. There's a few more. I really don't know. I just can't wait to see. But the one consideration I do have is Chorus has been acquired. Does that pave the way for Gong to possibly IPO? This is kind of like the 1 and 2 in the space, Gong and Chorus, and they're neck and neck. And I wonder if Chorus is now acquired, does that just free up Gong to go for it? It's kind of like SalesLoft and Outreach. It's kind of like DiscoverOrg and ZoomInfo before, and then ZoomInfo bought DiscoverOrg. Then there's got to be a clear winner. So I just wonder if this now means Gong is on for it. But anyways, moving on. I mentioned VanillaSoft a moment ago, and I'm very excited to tell you we've got a new partnership to announce. So I would love to say that I was part of this one. I would love to take credit, but I can't. This was nothing to do with me. This is more of our higher education market folks, our product marketer, Buggen, our sales team in the higher education market. All of the exec team has worked very hard with a company called Prometheus DI, who we're now partnering with. And let's just take a second. Have you ever heard of a cooler company name? Prometheus DI. I can see that up in lights. I can see that, that's kind of like a movie title. I like that a lot. So what is Prometheus DI and VanillaSoft doing partnering together? Well, there's a press release. I'm sure Daniel is going to put it up on screen for me in a second. But really, this is about expanding the way that we service our higher education customers. And if you remember, I believe it was last week, we heard SalesLoft have acquired a professional services firm. Really, it's about end-to-end service. So we provide the platform. Prometheus DI is the advice, the consultation on all of that kind of side of it. It's the actioning what you're able to do. That's where sometimes things get complicated, and this is just a solution to help make that easier. If you want to find out a little bit more about that, get in touch with us. I'm sure our team will know where to send you, give you some more information, whatever you'd like to know about that. Anyways, let's move on to water cooler talk. So the first story in water cooler talk that I'm going to bring up, Twilio. They're a huge company, and they've done something that I think is very cool. Twilio launches live video and audio features which can be embedded into existing apps. Very cool. Very cool indeed. Live video, I think, is the wave. It's everywhere. Everywhere you look, there's a podcast clip. There's a live stream. There's a live webinar being broadcasted on Twitter. There's an in-app video. There's all sorts of things going on. It's way more interactive. It's not just static. Click this link and takes you out of the app. Goes to Google Chrome on your phone. No. In-app. Much better experience. I love this. I just love to know from someone who's a bit more technical than me what kinds of other cool things that they can do with this. I'm seeing it on a surface level. User experience is going to be 10 times better if you're starting to use these things in-app. And I know Twilio does a lot of different things too. It's nowhere near just this, but this is exciting to me. I think probably a few more vendors could do with looking at something like this, maybe coming out with their own version. And another thing that I'm actually very excited about. HubSpot announced its World Certification Week and their amazing initiative to help charities when people take their certifications. So if you've heard of it before, I am HubSpot Inbound certified. It's a free course that you go on their website and you can do. I believe anybody can do it. And all you have to do really is go through a quick test. Normally, it's about 40 questions or so. I probably shouldn't say this. A pro tip, if you would like to pass it 1000%, just open the course in the other tab, and then you can go back and forth, get all the answers right. Worked for me. But not that I'm stupid, but that helped me out quite a bit. But in reality, what they're going to do is the company has donated $20,000 to UNICEF as a result of the inaugural 2020 World Certification Day. And with every person that completes the certification, they will donate $5 to a non-profit. I love that. Can you imagine how many people go through their certification process? Can you imagine how many times $5 that is? That's a lot. That is a lot. And I love that. And as well, this isn't one of the stories that we're going to bring up, but I noticed this week as well, Brian Halligan from... it's a good week for Brian. He's been mentioned twice on the show. He was number 4, I believe, in a massive publication announcing best places to work, best CEOs to work for, diversity, inclusion, that kind of side of things. HubSpot seem to be glowing. They're absolutely glowing at the moment. And my last story, this is actually something that I posted on my own LinkedIn. I want to see what you guys think of this. So I'm sure Daniel's going to bring up my post in a second here, but I took a moment to analyze some of the cold emails that I've personally received in the past couple of weeks. Some of it was really surprising, really, really surprising, strange stuff going on in my inbox. So if I take a look now, I had, this is in around 5 to 7 working days, I had around 41 what I categorized as cold emails, pure and strict cold emails, 41 of them. So I don't know if you've seen this too, and it's been mentioned a couple of times on the drive as well. I'm getting a lot of people reach out and say, are you interested in HubSpot customers? Are you interested in SalesLoft customers? Salesforce? ZoomInfo? Name the company customers. It sounds dodgy and illegal as heck. Probably a whole bunch of spam. And you can tell because it says BCC me. So I know that I'm part of some crappy list, and there we go. I just got dumpstered by this terrible campaign. But I keep getting it all the time. And in that 41 emails, 14 of them were that. So nearly half. Nearly 50% of the cold emails I got were that. I'm a little bit in pain to say that, but there we go. And it possibly even more painful, but I'm glad it wasn't more than this number. 3 of them directly asked for the meeting or the call in the subject line. Have you ever seen that before? I definitely have not. Maybe if I got a few more cold emails, possibly I would have seen that. Maybe if I had a C-level title, I'd see that a bit more, but I thought that was unbelievable. Really? I mean, yeah, sure. Just take my day. So let's imagine they're both, all 3 of those calls are 30 minutes. Goodbye, 90 minutes. I wonder what I could have done in that time. Unbelievable. How many times was VanillaSoft or my name mentioned in the subject line? 5, which I thought was kind of low. That's a pretty common one. Sometimes you get, I don't know if you guys do this, like I do in my calendar invites for a meeting. What I'll do is I'll put either Ollie and then possibly a bracket or a colon or the lesser than, greater than symbols together, and then the other person's name. Sometimes we do it with the company, so you could have VanillaSoft order close together like that, or whatever the other person's company is. That's a pretty common tactic, but I never really got too many of that. It was more goofy stuff like, Ollie, comma, are you VanillaSoft marketing manager, ? No, I'm not. Like, just, oh my gosh. It's really not hard to find that out. But anyway, that was 2 personalization tokens in 1 email. And that was only 5 times in the whole 41 email stack. Just 5. But you know what? Something I try personally quite a lot. I put a lot of emojis in my subject line. I don't care if people think it's spammy. I think it's a little bit different. And this proves it. 2 times in 41 emails did anybody use an emoji in the subject line. 2. Just 2. So whether you think it's spammy or not, I think the ones that didn't use it could have come off more spammy than the ones that did. But that's an argument for another day. The hot thing here, I was dismayed when I saw this, especially when you work for VanillaSoft, when we harp on about follow-up. We're salespeople. We talk about following up. That's our job. How many do you think followed up with me? 13. So again, well over half were just one-time emails. Possibly, and there is a little bit of a skew here, maybe there'll be a couple that come in over the next few days. So maybe I got that first touch and it was too early in the cadence, something like that. But on a general basis, if you're reaching out to somebody and you leave it over a week from the first touch, that's nowhere near optimal. So maybe that's a small part of it, but I was still I looked at it and I thought it's got to be 20, maybe 25 of these people probably have followed up a couple of times, or maybe I've recognized their name twice in the same period in my inbox, or they just flat out replied to the same email and created a chain. Nope, just 13. And you know what surprised me even more about that, which I didn't analyze too much in my LinkedIn post? Nearly all of them were those replies in that same chain. And it was always the same rhythm. It was 1, 2, and 3. It was never 4, 5, and 6. Number 1, initial outreach, whatever they said. Number 2, something like bubbling this back up to the surface. Did you get a moment to look at the email? You didn't reply. I wondered if you had a chance to look at it. Can you meet next Tuesday? Whatever it is. The third one was, is there anybody else? Did I catch you at the wrong time? It was kind of like the breakup email. Nothing different. That's what all of those 13 emails were when they did follow up. I was blown away by that. I don't know who's teaching these 3-part cadences, but they are not the one, in my opinion, at the very least. For those of you that will follow what I post about sometimes, we did a big research project into order close data, and we analyzed over 600,000 cold emails. Believe me, that was a big Excel file. I did it personally. It was hell to get through, but we got there. The average cold email subject line, as per order close user data, 4, 5, or 6 words. So I was looking at this, and I did the same investigation here. In fact, the average subject line that I received in that period was 5 words, so right on target. Guess what the shortest one was? And this is pretty cool. 2 words, and this happened twice. And ironically, those 2 emails were the best ones. Brevity is good for me. I like it. That's my style. So that's how that played out. The longest one, would anybody guess? 14 words. 14. So I don't know exactly what the character count is for Gmail. Let's say I go on my phone, and I'm looking at my Gmail right now, and I have 1, 2, 3 words before the email truncates in the subject line. I can't see any more than that. So 3 words, that could be 20 characters. 14 words. That's getting close to longer than the email should be in its entirety. I was blown away. So I'd love to know what you guys have got in your email inbox. Send me a note on LinkedIn, on Twitter, or my email address. I'm sure Daniel could put that up on screen. And I'd love to have a look at your inbox, see what kind of cold emails you get. But you know what? We're out of time. This has probably been the quickest ever drive. What do you guys think? Do you like the format? Did you like it nice and quick and snappy? Did I fly through everything? Let me know. And with that, I'm going to leave you to enjoy the rest of your Friday. I hope you have a great weekend. This has been The Drive. We will see you soon, folks.